A hidden enemy is working against you right now. My beloved child, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because there is something about your current season that requires wisdom, not fear. You may have felt lately that something is strangely different around you, as though certain people are behaving differently, conversations feel unusual, or your peace disappears whenever you enter a particular situation. But before you assume someone is secretly working against you, take a breath. This message is not here to make you suspicious of everyone around you. It is here to remind you that discernment matters, boundaries matter, and sometimes the strongest protection you can have is simply learning to pay attention. Don't skip this message, because there is a lesson here that could change the way you handle certain relationships. Not every person who becomes distant is an enemy. Not every disagreement is betrayal. Not every uncomfortable feeling means someone is plotting against you. But when the same pattern keeps appearing, when someone's words consistently contradict their actions, when your boundaries are repeatedly ignored, when private information somehow travels farther than you intended, or when someone seems supportive only when you are struggling, you have permission to step back and observe. You don't need to accuse anyone. You don't need to create drama. You simply need to stop giving unlimited access to people who have not demonstrated that they can handle it. Maybe you have been too open with your plans. Maybe you've been telling people what you're building before you've built it. Maybe you've been sharing details about your relationship, your finances, your dreams, or your next move with people who don't truly need to know. And perhaps the lesson arriving now is simple: everything meaningful in your life does not need an audience. Some dreams need silence while they grow. Some decisions need prayer and reflection before opinions from other people are added to the situation. Some blessings are better protected by privacy. Listen carefully: being private does not mean being secretive. It means understanding that access to your life is earned. You can love people without telling them everything. You can be friendly without revealing every detail. You can respect someone without trusting them with information they have not earned the right to know. And you can step away from a relationship without turning that decision into a public announcement. Sometimes silence isn't weakness. Sometimes silence is wisdom. You may have noticed someone asking questions that feel strangely specific. Where are you going? Who are you talking to? What are you planning? How much money are you making? Who are you dating? What's your next move? Again, don't automatically assume malicious intent. Some people are simply curious. Some care about you. But if someone's curiosity repeatedly crosses your boundaries, you don't have to satisfy it. You can simply say, "I'm keeping that private for now." Then watch the reaction. A healthy person may respect your choice. Someone who feels entitled to your private life may become angry, push harder, or try to make you feel guilty. That reaction can tell you something important. And this is where your power begins to return. You don't have to expose anyone. You don't have to investigate everyone. You don't have to spend your nights wondering who secretly dislikes you. You can simply become more intentional. Observe behavior. Verify information. Protect your personal details. Keep important documents secure. Never share passwords or verification codes. And when something involves money, contracts, or major commitments, slow down and verify everything independently. Wisdom is not paranoia. Wisdom is refusing to make important decisions while emotionally pressured. Maybe there is someone in your life who seems uncomfortable whenever you succeed. Every time you share good news, they find a reason to minimize it. Every time you make progress, they remind you of something that could go wrong. Every time you become confident, they make a joke that brings you back down. Again, one moment doesn't prove anything. People can have bad days. People can communicate poorly. But repeated patterns deserve attention. You don't need to fight them. You can simply stop looking to them for validation. Because here's something you need to understand: not everyone deserves a front row seat to your transformation. Some people knew the old version of you, and they became comfortable with that version. When you begin changing, your boundaries may feel strange to them. When you stop tolerating disrespect, they may say you've changed. When you stop explaining yourself, they may call you distant. When you start protecting your time, they may accuse you of becoming selfish. Don't let every accusation convince you that you're doing something wrong. Growth often changes the way people experience you. But stay humble enough to examine yourself too. This is important. Don't use the idea of a hidden enemy as an excuse to avoid accountability. If several trustworthy people are giving you the same feedback, listen. If you make a mistake, own it. If you hurt someone, apologize. Discernment isn't about always assuming you're right. It's about being willing to see reality clearly, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes the person who needs to change isn't someone around you. Sometimes it's you. And maybe that is the deeper message of this entire season. You are learning the difference between intuition and fear. Intuition says, something feels different, slow down and observe. Fear says, everyone is against me. Intuition invites you to gather information. Fear creates a story before evidence exists. Intuition makes you more careful. Fear makes you more reactive. Choose discernment over fear. Stay calm when someone behaves strangely. Don't immediately confront them with accusations. Don't send angry messages. Don't post indirect statements online. Don't tell 10 people what you think someone is doing. Take a step back. Give yourself time. Let their actions reveal the truth. Because when you react too quickly, you can accidentally create the very conflict you were trying to avoid. Sometimes the most powerful move is to become boring to drama. Don't argue with every rumor. Don't respond to every provocation. Don't explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. If someone wants to believe something about you, you cannot control their imagination. What you can control is your character. Keep doing what you know is right. Keep your promises. Keep your word. Keep moving. And if someone genuinely has bad intentions toward you, their behavior will eventually create evidence. Patterns become visible. Contradictions accumulate. Boundaries reveal character. Time exposes what performance can hide. You don't need to force the truth into the light. Sometimes you simply need to stop blocking the light with your own desperation for answers. Maybe someone has already shown you enough. Maybe you keep giving chances because you're afraid of losing the relationship. Maybe you keep accepting apologies because you want to believe the best. There is nothing wrong with believing in people's ability to change, but change is demonstrated through behavior. An apology is meaningful when it is followed by different choices. A promise is meaningful when it survives inconvenience. Trust is rebuilt through consistency, not speeches. So if someone repeatedly crosses the same boundary, believe the pattern. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to call them an enemy. You can simply decide that they are not safe for certain parts of your life. That's enough. You don't need a courtroom to establish a boundary. You don't need everyone else to agree with your decision. Your peace is reason enough to create healthy distance. Maybe you have been afraid that stepping back will make people angry. Let them be angry. Their emotional reaction is not your responsibility. You can communicate respectfully and still hold your boundary. You can say no without writing an essay explaining why. You can leave a conversation without winning it. Ask for the ability to recognize genuine love and genuine danger without allowing fear to control you. Ask for the courage to walk away when something is unhealthy. Ask for humility when you are wrong. And ask for protection over your decisions, your relationships, your work, and your future. Because perhaps the protection you need is not a dramatic revelation. Perhaps it is a quiet feeling that tells you to slow down before signing something. Perhaps it is the wisdom to keep your financial information private. Perhaps it is the courage to stop lending money you cannot afford to lose. Perhaps it is the decision to stop sharing your personal struggles with someone who repeatedly turns them into gossip. Protection often looks ordinary. And maybe you're about to enter a new chapter where you need to become more selective. Not colder. Not harder. More selective. There is a difference. A closed heart says, nobody can be trusted. A wise heart says, trust must be earned. A bitter person says, everyone will hurt me. A healed person says, I will recognize unhealthy behavior and respond differently. Become the healed person. You don't need to walk around wondering who secretly wants you to fail. Instead, pay attention to who consistently wants you to succeed. Who celebrates when you win? Who checks on you when you disappear? Who tells you the truth when it's uncomfortable? Who protects your confidence? Who respects your boundaries even when they don't understand them? Those people are valuable. Don't let fear about hidden enemies make you blind to genuine friends. And remember this. Sometimes people who seem against you are simply not meant to travel with you anymore. That's not necessarily betrayal. Sometimes paths separate. Sometimes priorities change. Sometimes two people outgrow the relationship they once had. You can accept that without turning the other person into a villain. Not every ending needs an enemy. Your life becomes lighter when you stop needing villains for every painful chapter. Some things simply didn't work. Some people weren't compatible with you. Some choices were mistakes. Some opportunities weren't right. Some relationships ended because they had reached their natural conclusion. And accepting that can be more powerful than creating a story about someone secretly plotting against you. But if someone is genuinely manipulating you, threatening you, stalking you, stealing from you, or putting you in danger, don't handle that situation alone. Prioritize your safety, preserve relevant evidence, and reach out to trusted people or appropriate authorities. You don't have to prove your strength by facing a real threat by yourself. Asking for help is wisdom. For everyday relationship uncertainty, however, don't let your imagination become your enemy. Slow down. Look at facts. Ask direct questions when appropriate. Protect your information. Set boundaries. Then make decisions based on what you can actually observe. This keeps you grounded while still honoring your instincts. Maybe the person you fear isn't even thinking about you as much as you think. Maybe they're dealing with their own problems. Maybe their strange behavior has nothing to do with you. That's why assumptions are dangerous. You don't need to fill every silence with a negative explanation. Give reality the opportunity to speak. And here's the beautiful part. Once you stop obsessing over who might be against you, you have more energy for the people and goals that actually matter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your relationships become healthier. Your work becomes more focused. You start sleeping better because you're no longer trying to solve mysteries that may not even exist. You stop watching everyone. You start living. That is freedom. You don't need to know who is talking behind your back. You need to know what you're building in front of you. You don't need to know who doubts you. You need to know what you believe about yourself. You don't need to prove everyone wrong. You need to keep becoming stronger, wiser, kinder, and more disciplined. Let people misunderstand you if they choose. Let them have their opinions. Let them walk away. Let them reveal themselves. Your job is not to control everyone around you. Your job is to control your response, your boundaries, your choices, and your direction. So if something feels wrong, don't panic. Pause. Breathe. Observe. Verify. Protect yourself. Then move with wisdom. That simple process can save you from unnecessary conflict while still helping you recognize genuine warning signs. And if someone truly is working against you, remember this: you don't have to become obsessed with defeating them. You simply need to refuse to participate in your own destruction. Don't sabotage yourself with anger. Don't make reckless decisions to prove a point. Don't destroy your reputation trying to expose someone. Stay focused. Stay lawful. Stay grounded. Let truth and time do their work. Because sometimes the strongest victory is not exposing someone. It is becoming unreachable to the behavior that once controlled you. Maybe they expected you to react. You became calm. Maybe they expected you to chase. You stepped back. Maybe they expected you to break. You grew. Maybe they expected you to remain the same. You changed. And perhaps that is the ending you never saw coming. You don't have to defeat every person who misunderstands you. You don't have to answer every accusation. You don't have to prove every rumor false. Live with integrity long enough, and the people who matter will recognize the truth. My beloved child, your future is too valuable to spend every day looking for hidden enemies. There are dreams waiting for your attention. There are people who genuinely love you. There are opportunities you haven't seen yet. There are lessons still unfolding. There is a life ahead that deserves more of your energy than fear ever will. So protect your peace, but don't imprison your heart. Be private, but don't become isolated. Be cautious, but don't become cynical. Trust slowly, but don't stop believing that trustworthy people exist. And most importantly, never allow someone else's behavior to convince you that you have to become someone you don't want to be. You can remain kind and still have boundaries. You can forgive and still walk away. You can love someone and still choose distance. You can believe in people without ignoring patterns. You can have faith without abandoning wisdom. And perhaps tonight, the greatest hidden truth is not about another person at all. It is about you. You are becoming more aware of your worth. You are becoming more careful with your energy. You are learning that access to you is a privilege, not an entitlement. You are learning that peace is more valuable than proving a point. So don't spend tonight asking, who is secretly against me? Ask something better, who am I becoming, and what kind of people belong in the life I'm building? That question changes everything. Because when you become clear about where you're going, you stop being distracted by everyone who isn't coming with you. You stop chasing explanations. You stop fighting unnecessary battles. You stop looking backward every 5 minutes. You simply keep walking. And perhaps one day you'll look back at this season and realize that the warning wasn't meant to make you afraid. It was meant to make you wise. It taught you to protect your information, choose your relationships carefully, recognize patterns, and trust yourself without allowing fear to control you. So walk forward tonight with your head held high. Don't look for enemies in every shadow. Look for truth in actions. Look for loyalty in consistency. Look for character in difficult moments. Look for peace in the relationships you choose to keep. And if someone is genuinely working against you, you don't need revenge. You need boundaries. You need clarity. You need support. You need patience. Let truth reveal itself while you continue building your life. Because the people who truly belong in your future will not require you to constantly defend yourself around them. They will respect your boundaries. They will celebrate your growth. They will tell you the truth. They will want you to become stronger, not smaller. So release the fear tonight. Keep the lesson. Keep your wisdom. Keep your boundaries. Keep your heart open to the good people who are still out there. Your future is not controlled by someone else's hidden intentions. Your future is shaped by the choices you make next. And that is why you don't need to be afraid. You need to be awake. You need to be wise. You need to keep moving. Because sometimes the greatest protection is not discovering who is standing against you. It is becoming so grounded in who you are that their actions no longer have the power to control your direction. Let the truth reveal itself. Let time expose patterns. Let wisdom guide your decisions. And let your life become so focused on purpose, peace, and growth that you no longer have room for unnecessary fear. The shadows can stay behind you. Your future is in front of you. And this time, you're walking toward it with your eyes open. My beloved child, This is where you stop looking behind you and finally turn your eyes toward what is ahead. Maybe you came searching for the identity of a hidden enemy, expecting a name, a face, or some dramatic revelation, but perhaps the deeper message is much more powerful. You don't need to know who is against you to protect your peace. You don't need to expose everyone. You don't need to confront every strange behavior. You don't need to spend another night wondering who is talking about you when you could be building the life you've been praying for. Listen carefully, because this changes everything. Your greatest protection is not fear. It is wisdom. If someone is truly working against you, let their actions reveal them over time. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to investigate every rumor. You don't have to create a war just to prove that you were right. Stay calm. Watch the patterns. Protect your private information. Keep your boundaries strong. Verify what you hear before believing it. And most importantly, never allow someone else's behavior to pull you so far out of character that you become someone you don't recognize. Maybe someone expected you to react, but you became silent. Maybe they expected you to argue, but you chose peace. Maybe they expected you to chase after their approval, but you finally realized that your worth was never dependent on their opinion. Maybe they expected you to remain the same person they could manipulate, but something inside you changed. You became more aware. You became more careful. You became stronger. And sometimes that transformation is the greatest protection of all. Don't become bitter because someone disappointed you. Don't close your heart because someone betrayed your trust. Don't assume everyone is dangerous because one person was dishonest. There are still good people in this world. There are people who will celebrate you without competing with you. There are people who will protect your confidence when you're not in the room. There are people who will tell you the truth because they genuinely care about your future. Your job is not to distrust everyone. Your job is to learn the difference. And maybe this season is teaching you exactly that. You are learning that trust is earned slowly. You are learning that words are beautiful, but actions are evidence. You are learning that apologies mean little without changed behavior. You are learning that someone can say they love you and still behave in ways that are unhealthy. You are learning that forgiveness does not require unlimited access. You can forgive someone and still keep your distance. You can wish them well without allowing them back into places they repeatedly damaged. That's not hatred. That's maturity. You don't have to announce your boundaries. You don't need to post about them. You don't need to explain them to everyone. Simply live them. If someone doesn't respect your privacy, give them less information. If someone constantly creates drama, stop feeding it. If someone repeatedly manipulates you, create distance. If someone pressures you to make decisions quickly, slow down. If someone consistently makes you question your own worth, step away and reconnect with the people who remind you who you really are. Because your peace is valuable. Your attention is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your future is valuable. Stop giving those things away to people who have done nothing to protect them. And if you're listening tonight thinking about a particular person, don't immediately decide that they are your enemy. Ask yourself a better question: what have their actions consistently shown me? Not what you hope they meant. Not what you fear they meant. not what someone else told you they meant. Look at the pattern. Look at the facts. Look at how you feel after interacting with them. Look at whether your boundaries are respected. Then make your decision from clarity rather than fear. This is important because sometimes your mind can create an enemy where there is only misunderstanding. Sometimes someone is distant because they're struggling. Sometimes someone is quiet because they are overwhelmed. Sometimes people make mistakes without secretly planning to hurt you. That's why discernment requires patience. You don't need to turn every uncomfortable moment into a prophecy. Give reality time to reveal itself. But if the pattern becomes undeniable, don't keep making excuses for it. If someone repeatedly lies, believe the pattern. If someone repeatedly breaks your confidence, protect your information. If someone repeatedly manipulates you, strengthen your boundaries. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, reconsider their access to your life. You don't need to hate them. You simply need to stop giving them opportunities to repeat the same behavior. And maybe that's the part you were afraid to hear. You have permission to outgrow people. You have permission to stop explaining yourself. You have permission to say no. You have permission to change. You have permission to choose peace. You have permission to leave situations that constantly drain you. You have permission to protect the future you are building. You don't owe anyone unlimited access just because they knew you before you changed. Some people will only understand the old version of you. Let them. You are not required to stay small so someone else can remain comfortable. If your boundaries make someone uncomfortable, that doesn't automatically mean your boundaries are wrong. Sometimes it means they were benefiting from you not having any. And now you're different. You don't need to announce the change. Your actions will announce it for you. Maybe they expected you to remain available every time they needed something. You learned to say no. Maybe they expected you to explain every decision. You learned to keep some things private. Maybe they expected you to chase them whenever they pulled away. You learned to let people make their own choices. Maybe they expected your confidence to depend on their approval. You learned to approve of yourself. That is growth. And growth is sometimes quiet. It doesn't always look like a dramatic breakthrough. Sometimes it looks like ignoring a message because responding would only create more drama. Sometimes it looks like walking away from an argument. Sometimes it looks like refusing to gossip about someone who hurt you. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to retaliate. Sometimes it looks like praying for peace instead of praying for revenge. That's strength. So if someone is secretly working against you, let them carry the weight of their own choices. You don't have to carry it for them. You don't have to become obsessed with what they're doing. You don't have to let their behavior become the center of your life. Keep your focus on what you can control. Your choices. Your boundaries. Your character. Your future. Your response. That's enough. And if you believe God is watching over your journey, remember that you don't have to personally manage every injustice. You can ask for wisdom, protection, and clarity. You can ask God to remove what is harmful and strengthen what is good. But then you also have to do your part. Use wisdom. Protect yourself. Seek trusted advice. Verify information. Take practical action when necessary. Faith and wisdom can walk together. Don't wait for a supernatural sign when a practical boundary is already obvious. Don't ignore a clear pattern because you want a dramatic revelation. Don't stay somewhere harmful because you believe you're supposed to endure it. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is simply the courage to leave. And sometimes the answer is realizing that you don't need to leave at all, you simply need to stop reacting. Not every battle is yours. Not every accusation deserves a response. Not every person deserves your explanation. Not every rumor deserves your attention. Not every door needs to be opened. Learn that, and your life becomes lighter. You start waking up without wondering who is against you. You stop checking who viewed your life. You stop analyzing every conversation. You stop trying to read hidden meanings into every silence. You start living again. And maybe that's what you needed all along. Not another warning. Not another reason to be afraid. A reminder that you are capable of protecting yourself without living in fear. You can be soft and strong at the same time. You can be loving and discerning. You can have faith and still use common sense. You can forgive and still maintain boundaries. You can trust people slowly without becoming suspicious of everyone. That balance is where peace lives. So tonight, take one final look at your life and ask yourself who deserves to come with you into the next chapter. Not who has known you the longest. Not who has the loudest voice. Not who demands the most attention. Look at character. Look at consistency. Look at respect. Look at whether they genuinely want to see you become better. Keep the people who bring peace. Keep the people who tell you the truth. Keep the people who celebrate your victories. Keep the people who respect your boundaries. Keep the people who don't need you to fail in order to feel successful. And release the need to convince everyone else. Some people will never understand you. That's okay. Some people will never apologize. That's okay. Some people will tell their version of the story. Let them. You don't have to chase every misunderstanding. Your life will eventually speak louder than their words. And one day, you may look back at this chapter and realize that the hidden enemy wasn't nearly as powerful as you thought. Maybe the greatest threat was the fear that kept you distracted. Maybe the real battle was between your old habit of people-pleasing and your new desire for peace. Maybe the greatest victory was learning to trust yourself again. Because once you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop ignoring what you see. You stop betraying your own boundaries. You stop begging people to treat you well. You stop chasing those who repeatedly walk away. You stop confusing attention with love. You stop confusing intensity with connection. You stop confusing familiarity with loyalty. You become clear. And clarity is powerful. So don't spend the rest of your night searching for a hidden enemy. Search for your next opportunity. Search for your next goal. Search for the part of yourself you've been neglecting. Search for the dream you stopped believing in. Search for the peace you've been postponing. That's where your energy belongs. If someone is against you, let time handle them. If someone misunderstands you, let your character speak. If someone leaves, let them go. If someone stays, let their actions prove why. And if someone genuinely loves you, don't be so focused on finding enemies that you fail to recognize the people standing beside you. There may be more support around you than you realize. There may be people quietly praying for your success. There may be friends who genuinely want you to win. There may be someone who believes in you even when you doubt yourself. Don't let fear make you blind to them. Your story is bigger than one difficult person. Your future is bigger than one betrayal. Your purpose is bigger than one rumor. Your life is bigger than someone else's opinion. So breathe. Release the fear. Keep the lesson. Strengthen your boundaries. Protect your peace. And walk forward. Because the moment you stop looking for enemies in every shadow is the moment you begin seeing opportunities in every doorway. Maybe the next chapter won't be about proving anyone wrong. Maybe it will be about proving to yourself that you can become everything you once thought was impossible. Maybe you will build the life they never expected you to build. Maybe you will find peace they never thought you could find. Maybe you will become so secure in who you are that their opinions simply stop reaching you. And that is the victory nobody can take away. My beloved child, you don't need revenge. You need growth. You don't need exposure. You need clarity. You don't need everyone to understand you. You need to understand yourself. You don't need to know who is secretly against you. You need to know who you are becoming. And when you finally know that, the shadows lose their power. So walk away from unnecessary drama. Walk toward your purpose. Walk away from people who repeatedly disrespect your boundaries. Walk toward those who genuinely value you. Walk away from fear. Walk toward wisdom. Walk away from the past. Walk toward the future. And never forget this, someone else's hidden intentions cannot determine your destiny unless you surrender your direction to them. Don't surrender. Keep going. Keep building. Keep becoming. And one day, when you look back, you may realize that the warning wasn't sent to make you afraid of someone. It was sent to remind you of yourself. To remind you that you are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to choose carefully. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to become stronger without becoming harder. You are allowed to remain kind without becoming naive. And you are allowed to move forward without carrying everyone who hurt you. So let tonight be the night you release the need to know everything. Let truth reveal itself. Let time expose patterns. Let actions speak. Let your boundaries protect you. Let your faith steady you. And let your future call you forward. Because the people who truly belong in your next chapter will not require you to live in fear. They will bring honesty. They will bring respect. They will bring consistency. They will bring peace. And perhaps that is the final revelation. The greatest protection was never discovering every person who might be against you. The greatest protection was becoming someone who no longer abandons themselves just to keep other people happy. You know your worth now. You know your limits. You know what you will tolerate. You know what you won't. And that knowledge is power. So close this chapter with your head held high. Don't look behind you for enemies. Look ahead for opportunities. Don't waste your energy proving people wrong. Use it to build something beautiful. Don't let fear become the author of your story. Let wisdom hold the pen. And when the next chapter begins, enter it peacefully, confidently, and with your eyes open. Because your life is not ending because someone misunderstood you. Your future is not disappearing because someone doubted you. Your purpose is not cancelled because someone tried to discourage you. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still becoming. And that means the story is still being written. So keep walking. Keep believing. Keep protecting your peace. Keep choosing yourself. And remember one final truth. You don't have to defeat every person who stands against you. Sometimes you simply have to keep moving until they are no longer part of your story. Let them stay behind. Let the past stay behind. Let the fear stay behind. Your future is waiting in front of you. And this time, you're not walking toward it afraid. You're walking toward it wiser. Stronger. Calmer. And free. The shadows can remain behind you, because your light is already leading you forward.